I figured out something that I didn't really. I think I knew it, but I didn't want to admit it.
Mhm.
I never really cared for Fat Records bands. I always liked Epitaph bands, and then the only Fat Records band I ever really cared for was No Effects, but they were on Epitaph for most of their early career. November 21st, 1995. Coincidentally, my mother's birthday.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
95? You're
Well,
young man?
she wasn't born on 95, but her birthday's November 21st.
Gotcha.
Uh, Fat Records, man. We
But
get Lagwagon Haas, their third album is 14 songs. It is 39 minutes. Um, I'm gonna say something real quick, and then I would like you to. My kid just walks in here like it's no big deal, and just, hey, Dad. I'm like, what's up, fool? He's going to the bathroom like a little. There's a whole other bathroom in this house. He just wants to come in here.
it's Parker.
Yeah, dude.
What's up, Parker?
Hey, little bear, when you're done, come here and say hi. He's like, okay. Okay. So I figured out something that I didn't really. I think I knew it, but I didn't want to admit it.
Mhm.
I never really cared for Fat Records bands. I always liked Epitaph bands, and then the only Fat Records band I ever really cared for was No Effects, but they were on Epitaph for most of their early career.
Yeah.
So I never really got into RKL. I never got into Lagwagon. I never got into Strung Out. I never. But they were like influencing No Effects. My point is like all the bands that were heavily influenced by RKL, and then Lagwagon, who's part of RKL. I never got into that kind of music. I don't really care for RKL now. I understand how talented they were, and they have songs that I like, but I wouldn't call myself a fan. Like they're
Yeah.
above average. They're good. I just don't really resonate with that music. And I think the issue isn't the music. It's always been the vocals. Fat Records bands have a particular style of vocals that I've always just been like eh. So Lagwagon, I never got into, and also their album cover art, I saw it and was like, that's not really for me. And I think
Dude, look at Haas. You don't like the Haas album cover?
I hate their album covers.
Dixon.
Do what?
It's the guy from that show, right?
Yeah. Come here,
So that's
buddy. But like, dude, when you're in a punk band, and he just bailed. He wants to go watch cartoons. He's like, screw you, Dad.
like he's one big part of your stuff.
So, oh no, there he is. Come here, Bubba. Hey, buddy.
Hi, Parker.
Hey, hi. Are you sleepy? Yeah, you look sleepy. Oh, you're not sleepy? Oh, dude, it's 11:30. You're sleepy.
He's
Look at his eyes, bro. He's sleepy. Mwah. I love you, buddy. Have a high five? All right, I'll be there in a minute, okay? All right, I love you.
Night, dude.
Oh,
Hi, buddy.
dude, he's so silly.
Yeah, he's
Oh man, he's a sweet boy. Okay, so like, when you're making punk rock records, your album cover says a lot about what the music's going to sound like. So like, as an example, No Effects, Pump Up the Volume. I love that album cover, and it spoke to me, and it's exactly what the album sounds like. No Use for a Name was pretty good about their album covers, I think. Like Leche Con Carne, I like that album cover, and it feels kind of like the album. I also, what's the one that's kind of blue? It's a More Betterness. That album is very somber, and that cover, it really is. It parallels the record. My only point is that I skipped a lot of these records because I just didn't like the album covers and I didn't like the vocals much. So when I pick these albums, it's intentional. I want to go back and listen to them. I'll be honest, I never listened to Lagwagon much. Like I didn't know many of their songs. I heard them on comps a lot. I saw them play a few times because they were, touring with bands that I liked. I don't know, man. I'm going to think about it for a minute. I want to say what I want to say the right way. I don't want to be a douche about it because I'm not trying to do that. I do think there's a lot to like about this record, and so we'll talk about it in a little more detail in a minute.
Yeah.
But I think is this more your style? Do you like this stuff? I know Rob's more into this kind of music.
I love Lagwagon.
Okay, good.
I think that Lagwagon is the band that should have been Blink. I think that their songwriting prowess, I think that the quality of their material is just far superior to Blink-182. But again, I don't think they had the mainstream kind of appeal that Blink had.
Well, not only that, but they weren't gonna do what Blink-182 did. Like at no point in their career were they gonna
Oh no, they were going to keep being a skate punk band.
Right. So like I think they
Yeah.
couldn't be Blink 182, but are they like in
It's
that universe? Blink went this way, and Lagwagon stayed like the real punk
right.
rockers
Yeah.
version of Blink.
I mean, Lagwagon was around longer than Blink. I think they're older than those guys.
Yeah, well, it's their third record, and that was Blink's first, same
Right.
year. So
Yeah. So, the guys from Lagwagon, God, they started in like the late '80s, probably. But
well, weren't some of them in RKL, or am I tripping?
yeah. So they're from like the same part of like Southern California, Santa Barbara, right? So RKL has roots there too, kind of Oxnard and Santa Barbara.
But aren't some of the members from Lagwagon, weren't they from RKL?
Now, right? So on this record on Haas,
Okay,
they had another drummer. Okay, that drummer Sean Dewey. By the way, the drummer on this record is insane. He's a fucking beast. The drums on Haas in particular, and the first three Lagwagon records are just phenomenal. Like this guy's an incredible drummer. He died, right? And then after he died, they got the guy from RKL to play drums.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I should have let you say that before I cut you off.
I think that was I forgot when he died. I don't want to mix these dates up. But the guy from RKL joined in '97 after this record.
Okay.
Platinum. And then they lost their second guitar player, and then some other guy came and filled in just for that record, double platinum. And then they got the second guitarist from RKL. Gotcha. So then they like slowly began to adopt members of RKL into
well, that's why their later material sounds more like RKL than their early stuff does. Now it's all similar, but like their later stuff definitely sounds.
Even this record, I mean, like in the beginning, it's pretty pop punk. Like the first time this record is super pop punk, and then once you get to like the 8th and the 9th song, it's very RKL-y. It's got that like crossover-y kind of thrash kind of like stop start stuff going on.
Right.
Like all did, without the solos. Joey Cape was definitely more of a kind of pop punk kind of style vocalist, right? So he vocally they weren't quite RKL, but musically I think they were.
Well, sorry.
No, that's all. I think this album in the skate punk world is considered like a classic.
Well, I'll say this. I know I sounded kind of negative at the beginning. I wasn't trying to be negative. I was just trying to be honest. I liked it more than I expected to. But the first thing that I wrote down was the opener on this album almost completely lost me. But Violins, the second track, it really grabbed my attention. I like the vocal melodies on. I like the vocal melodies on it, and the production on that one's really, really good. And then I wrote down this band sounds a lot more like NoFX than I was expecting. I don't really know why I was surprised, but I was.
Yeah, they're
Yeah. So
this was the first band on Fat Records.
Do what?
This was the first band on Fat Records.
Oh, I didn't know that.
This was like Fat 001, like the first weeks.
Well, I was definitely more of an Epitaph kid, so I don't have the history of Fat that some of my buddies do.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Lagwagon was the first Fat band. What I would suggest with Lagwagon is going back and listening to their first record.
And that one is which one?
Hold on one sec. Duh. It's got the kid watching TV.
Okay.
Having like a Pepsi or whatever. That one is more of like straightforward, kind of just really fast kind of skate punk album. It's more melodic than poppy. By the time, and then the second one, Trashed, is also they're beginning to kind of get more into their pop punk kind of style. Sensibilities. On this record, they kind of went full fledged like pop. This is considered among many fans of this band to be their best album, but after this, they put on a bunch of other material.
I enjoyed the record, man. Sleep has a melody at the beginning of it that reminds me of a Nirvana song. I fucking hate Nirvana, but what? Oh, I can't stand Nirvana.
No, I'm just saying, like, I like this song, but I fucking hate Nirvana.
I know it's funny, huh? It just reminds me of a Nirvana song. I can't remember which one, but there's a melody that reminds me of it. I'll find it and put it in the comments.
All Apologies. That song, All Apologies.
I can't remember. I don't. Off the top of my head, I wouldn't be able to tell you. But when I find it out, I'll put it in the comments if somebody else hasn't already done so. There's a drum intro on Rifle that is pretty good. I really enjoy it. It's kind of surfy, but the guitar riff has a very Offspring sound to it. And when I say it's got an Offspring sound, I'm not saying that Offspring influenced these guys. I'm just saying that the sound reminds me of Offspring. People get that always get their panties in a wad. as an example, I wrote Razor Burn is a very Blink 182 song. It just reminds me of Blink a lot. I have no
Yeah.
idea if they were friends or whatever. It's just got that kind of the kind of punk that was popular back then. It's a very good song. I don't know that Blink 182 had anything to do with their they did, they weren't listening to them. I don't guess, but like they just have a similar sound.
We're listening to Lagwagon for sure,
No,
100%.
no, Blink was, yeah. But people hear me say that this Lagwagon song reminds me of Blink, and they think that I'm saying that Blink was influencing Lagwagon, and I'm like, no, I'm just saying like this song reminded me of this. So,
Totally.
don't get upset by it.
Well,
Weak,
those two
the
bands
song.
do that all the time. They went on tours and shit. And,
Oh,
you
I'm
know,
sure. The last thing I wrote down was that Weak was my favorite vocals on the whole album. It's one of the faster songs on the record, and I liked it a lot. As far as like particular tracks that I liked, I'll get into that in a few minutes. So, what are your favorite songs on this album?
on Haas, violins, of course. Um, let's see.
Well, like the digital version of this, it's got like, dude, I don't know, man, like almost what 10 more songs, 12 more songs.
Yeah, it does because it's got a bunch of outtakes and then like side B's, B sides too. So they have a bunch of B sides. They had a bunch of material that they never put on the record that is also really good. Like there's a song
Well,
called
no, there's a bunch of good songs within that stuff.
Layman's Terms is one of the songs I like that didn't make the cut for the record.
Which one?
Layman's Terms.
Layman's Terms.
Yeah, it's a fantastic song. They put that on a Fat record compilation, like I think the Survival of the Fattest.
Okay.
Like 1995, right when this record came out. Razor Burn is a good song. Shaving Your Head, Sleep, love that song.
I like that one too.
Yeah, Bombs Away is a great song.
Oh yeah, Bombs Away. That song sounds like yeah, okay, yeah, that song's good. Sorry, I was thinking of it in my head.
All right.
Yeah, that's a good song.
I think Lagwagon. I mean, I started getting into NoFX around the same time period, right? So it just like they were a great alternative to NoFX,
Right, when you wanted the same kind of sound but different songs.
Same kind of sound, right? They're just super like SoCal kind of like skate punk, the contemporaries of each other. But yeah, I mean, just growing up around here and skateboarding and stuff, like this was the like sound for me.
You know what? I think I just came to a conclusion that's kind of interesting. So I really love Pennywise, right?
Yeah.
All of these bands that sound like this, like Lagwagon, Strung Out, and all those bands that were on Fat.
Yeah.
To me, like No Use for a Name, all of them, they all sound to me. This is not. I don't mean to be like a prick about this, so please don't get upset, people. They all sound like lesser versions of Pennywise, and I think the real difference is Pennywise is pretty much always like really fast, and these bands have tempo changes. They have like slower songs, really fast songs, mid-pace songs. Where Pennywise is kind of always like super super fast. They're like a little heavier than these bands. These bands are more poppy than Pennywise, I think.
They're more poppy. Yeah.
And so like I think that's the difference. And I got into Pennywise first. I bet if I had heard these bands before I heard Pennywise, I would like these a lot. And then I would also have been like, oh, and I like Pennywise. But I heard Pennywise first and I heard a lot of it. And then I heard this stuff and was like,
I think a lot of this stuff really depends on like when you found it and when you discovered it. Music has a way of if it hits you at the right time, the right place in your life, then you kind of gravitate and hang on to it. You got hit with Epitaph stuff and Pennywise when you were in like your formative years, so that's what got you. I mean, I got the Pennywise stuff too, but like I like pop. Like I just always have been really into pop. So it's not only did I mean, I went both directions. I love Pennywise, but also love Lagwagon, and I loved, No Use for a Name. Also, No Use for a Name to me was like they're fucking fantastic. I mean, I think
I'm growing to like all this stuff. Like I'm compiling lists of songs that I never liked that I'm like as an adult I'm really enjoying. No, I'm not liking whole albums as often.
Yeah,
that doesn't really matter, man. In this day and age, I can build playlists and stuff like that. I know it's not really your jam, but I like it because I can build playlists that like. Well, I know that it's not really how you listen to music, but when I'm driving to Austin, I'm building playlists that I can just play it. But it is my playlist. It's curated. It's not just like a automated playlist of any kind. And they have a new thing where you can have. Well, you don't give a shit, so whatever. But I like that I can go and pick out 8 songs out of 12 and be like, look, the few that I don't like, I don't have to listen to. Now, if I had a cassette deck in my car, I would just do the same thing with tapes, right? So
Right.
that's what it reminds me of. Is it reminds me of tapes.
Like fast
But
forward or whatever past the one that you didn't
bro,
listen.
I used to love mixtapes because I didn't have to worry about songs I didn't like, man. It was
Yeah.
so convenient. But and
Yeah.
that, I would take tapes and CDs and I would make my own mixtapes and then I would just put all this stuff away and let it sit in good condition. But yeah, man, there's a lot of songs. I like Violins was the one that I was like, okay, I'm glad this was second because after
Yeah.
the first song I do not care for. Um Sleep I really enjoyed. Rifle, Weak, Bro Dependent, Razor Burn was I think one of the better ones.
Yeah.
Wind in Your Sail was really good, but that's one of the extra songs.
Oh yeah, that was a B-side. That's a good song.
Yeah, Layman Terms, like you said, was really good. Um, yeah, dude, I was honestly like very, very
I think
pleasantly
you would
surprised.
actually enjoy this band.
Do
Um,
what?
I think you can really enjoy this band. You know, if you give them a fair shake, they have a lot of they just write really good songs.
Well, the only fat band that I absolutely don't like that I know I'm not gonna like is Strung Out. I don't like them. Never really have. I've tried a few times. There's plenty of No Use for a Name that I like. There's a lot of Lagwagon that I like. Most of the bands on the label, especially their stuff now, they're putting out great bands now. But
Strung Out's vocalist is kind of cornball.
I just never. I can't, dude. I can't get into that band. I've tried, man. I really wanted to like them. It's one of those things where like everybody I know likes that band. Like, why can't I enjoy them? And I listen to it. I'm like, fuck, this is terrible, dude. Like, it's so bad.
Strung Out's not a band that you admit that you like.
Dude,
I'll say that much. I like
wait
them.
till you see the comment section when I said that. People are gonna shit all over me for saying
Sorry,
that,
I
dude.
think shit on you. They're really big in Australia. Strung Out's one of those bands that had a bigger. A lot of these like skate punk bands from the '90s, they have a huge fan bases in other countries.
Isn't that
More
weird?
than, more than the States. So they'll go to like Sweden or Denmark or like fucking Australia. Australians love this shit. I don't know, they eat it up for some reason. But
I mean,
they fly out there and they go tour and play out there and stuff. But I did want to mention one thing about these two albums. This sound.
okay.
It's a sound. It was like the last record we talked about, A Global Threat, right? And we're like that street punk sound from like a time. It was a time and a place. Not this sound. I don't think can really be done in a new way and still hold up. You know what I mean? Like
I agree with that.
I think this the like skate punk sound of the '90s was very it belongs where it was. I don't want to tell anyone that they can't play or shouldn't play a certain type of music, but you know, it didn't necessarily. Very few bands aged well from this time period.
Right.
And that's why I think Lagwagon holds up. These songs, they're 30 years old, and I listen to them today, and I'm like, fuck, this is still good.
Isn't
It's
that
like
wild?
it hasn't gotten worse. You know how when you heard something that you liked when you were younger, you try it again, you're like, God, I don't know.
Well, that's kind of my point with all this stuff is I'm going back and listening to these albums that are hitting these major anniversaries, and I'm liking them just as much, if not more, than when I was young. And it's really surprising. Like I'm fixing to tackle Out Come the Wolves and one of the One Man Armies. I think it's Last Word Spoken. And I'm
Oh,
gonna do like a track by track breakdown. I'm gonna read all the lyrics and like write up a little blurb about every single track. And I can't explain to you how much I'm excited for this because those albums are that old and I still love them
yeah,
so very much.
yeah.
And you couldn't replicate that, dude. You couldn't do Out Come the Wolves today. You couldn't do Lagwagon today like this. You couldn't do Blink-182 Cheshire Cat today. It just
You
like
couldn't.
the guitar sounds don't exist like that anymore. The for better or worse, it could. I mean, some of it's worse even. Like they, that you can do way more today with less. So like, why don't you, right?
Right.
But like there's a certain charm. Now, some kids may not agree. We're in our 40s. We like this stuff. Part of it's because we grew up with it.
I
But
think there's that band that you like, Scooped Up, right? Aren't they?
oh yes, so dude, that's a great example of somebody that is actually doing this sound
Yeah.
and actually doing it right.
I don't know many bands that are doing it. I
Dude,
think
shout out Scooped Up, bro. I should have mentioned them with Cheshire Cat because I was thinking about them.
yeah, they this is what they do. This is their sound, right?
Yeah,
I
man.
wouldn't say so much Lagwagon, probably more Blink.
No, more Blink, but like they probably love Lagwagon, dude. And like
Yeah.
I like his like kind of monotony vocals. That when I first heard him, it took me a second, and then I got really attached to him, and I love his vocals now. But like That band's one of the very few that I can think of. There's another band called Dropped Out from Austin. They're really good. And then from Houston, we have I'm drawing blanks. I'm so tired right now. They sound like Lockdowns. Lockdown. Damn, I'm so glad I remembered it. The Lockdowns. So we have Dropped Out, Lockdowns, and Scooped Up. Those are all bands that are doing these old style punk that are doing it right, and it sounds good because they're not trying to sound sonically like the 90s. They're just writing songs that sound like they were written in the 90s. So
You mentioned that. Sorry to cut you off.
no, it's all right. So they're just doing it right. And I enjoy all three of those bands
Yeah,
quite a bit.
I think styles and music stuff comes back around again.
Oh,
Like,
always.
so you know how like there's like a new metal kind of resurgence now, and like a lot of the hardcore bands are playing like new metal stuff. You know
Shit
what
is
I'm
so
talking about?
stupid, bro. I
Like,
hate it.
or
Yes, I
like
know.
Limp Bizkit unironically, or they'll do like Corn stuff, and
That
I don't
shit
know.
is so stupid, bro.
I didn't like Corn back then, so it's happening now. I'm just like, all right, whatever. Like,
I've never liked
I
Corn.
don't control fucking like the zeitgeist of music, but like,
No, but I'm gonna sit here and be grumpy.
no, totally. But I feel like this type of music might, in a couple of years, find its way back around again, and
It
maybe
already did. It was
reinvent
doing it
itself.
3-4 years ago.
It won't sound like the 90s. It'll be like the 2025 6 version of this stuff, you know? It'll
Okay.
be like the version 2.0 of the skate punk that we listen to. Because technology,
Yeah, I thought we already had that, honestly, dude. We had bands like
we hear too much of it.
oh, dude, there was tons of it, man. Travis Barker was involved with most of it. Like there was a whole crop of like pop punk bands that sounded like Blink. It was wild, dude. What was
I
that one kid's name? He was a black kid. He was awesome, dude. I saw him play live. Oh, what was his name, dude? Um, fuck, what was his name? Hold on, I'm gonna find out because he was so good, dude. I really enjoyed him a lot. When I remember his name, I'm gonna feel stupid. Do what?
It's the pop punk band you're talking about?
Yeah, dude. Dude, Travis Barker produced a ton of this stuff, man. Now, it wasn't exactly like this. It wasn't more like Fat Record stuff. It was more like Blink 182. So are you talking about like Fat Records era pop punk? I think we're
Yeah,
talking about something a little different.
yeah, like that kind of stuff. I mean, whatever. It's like two sides of the same coin, you know? Like,
Well, sort of, because this stuff, there was a lot of stuff that he produced that absolutely would fall into this category. Let's see. What was his fucking name?
like the more like nasally, like whiny sounding stuff, probably there was more of that, but I don't know. I think that the fat sound is a little bit lost in time, you know.
Well, there was like this kid. I wish it's driving me nuts, dude, that I can't remember this kid's name because he was so good. I saw him play.
It's a dude or a band?
Well, the Kenny Hoopla.
No idea who
Kenny
that is.
Hoopla. He is awesome, dude. I can't believe it took me forever to remember his name. Poor kid, dude. Shout out Kenny Hoopla, man. So I think he was like the main attraction, but he had like a band that toured with him and stuff.
Sure.
Dude, I saw him play in Houston and I was so impressed with him, dude. And actually that's where I saw the Lockdowns play the first time was they opened for him. I'm pretty sure that's where it was. And dude, he was doing like backflips on the stage, man. That kid was awesome, bro. But he's like a California skater kid that, like, I'm telling you, man, there's a whole crop of that stuff. But yeah, I think we might have another resurgence of like fat era skate punk stuff coming.
Maybe.
That'd be
Maybe.
cool. I'd be down with that. Remember that band 10-Foot Pole? They were pretty
Yeah.
decent.
Yeah, that was the guy, Scott Radinsky. He was a pitcher for the LA Dodgers.
Shut the fuck up. Are you
Yeah,
serious?
that's why he left the band that he was in after that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Huh. That's
Holy,
awesome.
you know that band on Epitaph?
Damn, dude. Shout out Kenny Hoopla, man. Sorry it took me so long to remember your name, kid. That dude was cool, man. He was really, really good artist. Really good artist.
He was like a relief pitcher. He wasn't the main dude, but
That's
yeah.
still crazy though.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. What are your favorite fat bands? Do you have is Lagwagon like your favorite fat band?
I don't like everything Lagwagon did.
Okay.
Particularly after like 1998. They had a bunch of songs on the what's that video game?
What, Tony Hawk or like
Pro Skater, yeah. I think it was May 16th. Anyone that played Tony Hawk Pro Skater recognizes the
Oh, dude. There's so many songs that I don't know the band, but I know the song.
There's like Avail is on there, Hot Water Music. There's a bunch of fucking bands on that.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah, they had good music on there, right? But Lagwagon, yeah, I mean, I think after like maybe 98, I just kind of was like, ah, it's enough, for me. I just again, the like skate punk thing just wasn't what I gravitated to
Right,
as I
right. I
got older, you know.
Well, I started listening to more like 77 stuff and more like real
Oh,
grimy street punk. I was going more towards like US Bombs, Lars and the Bastards, Rancid, The Unseen. Swinging Utters was more my jam than Lagwagon. I remember those two bands were the ones I was like choosing between. And I was always like, Swinging Utters, I like this better.
right. And I was getting more into like, like early emo, like from 85,
Okay,
like
okay.
DC stuff, like Rites of Spring, Fugazi and
Yes, I'm not a big fan of that stuff. I need to give it
all the
like a
US hardcore stuff and, just punk and then, later Husker Du and fucking
dude.
everything.
Have you heard the new Empire Down song?
No,
Oh,
I'm really digging their music though. I think they're great.
I am so excited for you to hear that song. As a matter of fact, when we get done here, I'm gonna play it before you get off.
Fuck yeah.
It's so fucking good, man. At least I think I can play it. I should be able to. If I can't, I'll just send you. We'll go to my Bandcamp. You
One
can listen
song
to it.
off of that 7-inch. The one you play sometimes on the string.
Yeah. Well, the other one I think is even better, honestly, because his vocals are. He does some really bold shit with his vocals.
Nice,
It's
dude.
stuff that I wouldn't have the courage to try. It's just, I mean, it's like if
Go for it. You gotta go for it.
I know, dude, I know.
Only
It's
one
like
way to do it.
what's that band that was like barefoot all the time? Turnstile. It's like if Turnstile was good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Turnstile. Turnstile's cool, man. I respect Turnstile.
I mean, you can have it. I don't want it. Yeah, it reminded me of that a little bit, but I enjoyed it a lot more. Well, hell yeah, dude. Lagwagon. I think that this album, I think I'm gonna give it like a 7.5. I liked it enough to get it's the production is far superior to the Blink stuff.
Yeah.
The playing was tighter, the songwriting was tighter, so it deserves a higher grade than that based solely on all that. Now the songs I'm not as familiar with as I am the Blink songs, but
Yeah.
they are I don't know if better is the right word. I like some of the Blink stuff a little bit better, but it's not like they're objectively better. They're subjectively better because I like them better. But I think if you had to give it like an actual objective grade, there's no way you could compare them really.
Yeah. I would go back and listen to the first two Lagwagon records. The one
Oh, I'm
before,
gonna have to. I'm gonna have to.
I think, you could go back in time. And then if you want to go forward, go forward. But they get a little more polished and emo-y and at times. And
Hey, I'm interested in some of your emo picks. I need you to send me a list of some emo stuff to listen to. I don't really like that kind of music much, so I probably won't like a lot of it, but I am interested.
Trio, that's pretty, you know, I don't
Yeah,
know.
but you're talking about like Rites of Spring and Fugazi, and I hate both of those bands.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I,
Well, I
I
mean,
can't stand Fugazi. This shit's terrible.
yeah, well,
But I mean, like, whatever. I like terrible music too.
it's like arty shit.
Yeah.
Weird.
I'm a ape, dude. I'm like,
It's
it's
the guys from Minor Threat. Or it's one of the guys from Minor
yeah,
Threat.
Minor Threats are okay. You know,
You like
they're
Minor Threat?
they're mid. No, I'm playing. I love Minor Threat, but
I was gonna say Minor Threat was badass.
I
The
love
fucking
Minor Threat.
10-inch. I remember when my friend gave that to me in 7th grade. I was like listening to fucking, Blink and Green Day. He's like, "Hey man, we used to skate together." He's like, "Dude, check this out." And he gave me the out of step 10-inch, and I'm like,
Yes.
"These guys suck."
Oh,
Like,
dude,
I don't get it. Why does it sound bad? Like, why is it produced?
it took me forever to listen to like that stuff. DOA, Minor Threat,
Like,
Black Flag, Misfits, all that shit. It took me ages to appreciate that. The Minor Threat was the first one that I liked because they wrote catchy songs. Like their Minor Threat song and Seeing Red and I Don't Want to Hear It. Those are catchy songs, dude.
yeah. I
Man, I've
mean,
been having this cold for like a week. It's killing me.
yeah.
I keep rubbing my eyes because they're all dry and like itchy, like burny. Like I think I might have allergies or something. But yeah, dude, that was a really good time. I mean,
Oh,
I enjoyed the Lagwagon listen more than I thought I was going to. I am excited to give them a little more time once I have some time. I got other stuff I got to do first, but I'm driving to Austin pretty soon, and I think I'm going to do like I think I might throw a bunch of albums on a playlist and hit like random, and then start giving like the thumbs up to songs I like, and then build my own like Fat Records playlist.
yeah. I mean, the fat stuff, if you can somehow listen to albums released by year, kind of go
Right?
logically through their timeline, um, you might find that you'd appreciate more of their what they put out, their catalog.
Hell yeah.
But anyway,
So okay, well, shout out to Scooped Up. Shout out to Kenny Hoopla. Shout out to Empire Down, bro. Oh, also the Before Dawn pre-order just went up today. So like if you're interested in Before Dawn, it's $22. It's 12-inch EP.
Yeah.
Very, very good music.
I'm
I'm very
bummed, I'm bummed we missed them, man. We took their place at that show.
dude, that's crazy, man. Well, after I found out what happened, their dude got in a car wreck
Yeah,
and broke his
yeah.
ribs. Like, that's awful.
But that's the band
Uh,
I wanted to see. It's kind of fun. I was hoping one of the other bands dropped and they were gonna.
I know I could tell by your text that you were like, "Damn it, man, really?"
Yeah, I was like, but it's all right. It's all right. I'll see them next time.
Well, next time we talk, we're going to talk about what was it we just got? Bad Religion Against the Grain, Poison Idea, Feel the Darkness.
Ooh, I'm excited for
Poison
that.
Idea, I like, but I'm not as familiar with them as I would be Bad Religion. So I'm pretty stoked about this one because I do like Poison Idea. For some reason, I always lump them in with Negative Approach. I know they don't sound the same, but I
Mm.
feel like they just kind of go together. I don't know why. I think it's because a lot of bands cite
Both,
them
both
as like
angry American hardcore bands.
right, right. Well, a lot of bands like cite them as influences together, and I think I've just
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
I've heard that a lot, and so I always
Yeah.
associate one with the other, which doesn't necessarily make sense, but whatever. Um,
Poison Idea to me is the greatest American hardcore band.
you're not the first person to tell me that.
I'm not saying the greatest. I mean, like they're
No, no,
kind of
no.
iconic. The guys that did it.
Yeah.
The God.
Well, I'm working on a top 10 Texas punk bands list. It's sure to piss off a lot of people, but it's got a lot of great bands on there. So I hope people go
Yeah.
and listen to it. And I've already decided I'm going to do a part 2 where it's not like my top 10, but it's 10 more Texas bands I want people to be aware of. And I might even do a third because there's a lot of bands from here. And there's a lot of bands I've never even heard because, well, you can only listen to so many bands. So,
Next.
yeah. So, hell yeah, dude. That was right at an hour. Good shit. Yeah, please everybody like these videos, subscribe to the channel, talk
Make
shit to
sure
us
you
in the
tell
comments,
Randall how
dislike them if you hated it. If you hated it, dislike it, let me know. Don't forget Greg Valencia from Grimple. It gets uploaded on, I think it goes live on Friday. So shout out Greg for coming on and hanging out. I appreciated his time.
Eldopa, by the way. Don't forget about Eldopa.
Dude, we're gonna do a second video because I didn't realize he had a bunch of other bands. He wants to talk. He's like, I was like, shit, dude, let's talk anytime you want. So he's super nice guy. I appreciate that. That was like another legendary guy to me. Like that was a big one for me to talk to him. So,
Do you see the patch on your jacket?
bro, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm sure, dude. I'm a dork, dude. Like fucking. I
You're owning it. Are
have
you,
no.
are
Do
you
what?
the guy that would wear the like shirt to the show?
Shit, no, I don't do that. I don't do that. But I remember when I was in a band and I would be so broke that I had to wear like my own band's shirt.
Oh, your own band T-shirt.
Because
Yeah.
I'd be like all dirty and gross. I'm like, shit, I can't be looking like this and throw on a crow's feet shirt and go play a crow's feet show. People are like, this fucking bum. I'm like, yeah,
It's whatever.
yeah. Hey man, we're crow's feet from Houston. Get high. That was my intro. And I didn't mean like weed, guys. I don't smoke weed.
What if everyone else did? They can't smoke weed?
I threw a bag of hypodermic needles in the crowd once.
That's wild.
I was a wild dude. Like I'm kind of a dork and I'm an old guy now. I used to be wild, dude. Like,
What's up, dude? Like, what the fuck?
yeah, man. I used to drive down I-10, and one day I was driving down I-10, and I had taken a spoon and bent it all the way around my thumb so I could drive and cook dope on the same time.
Sick.
I would burn the shit out of myself because you start lighting it, and it doesn't take long. Well, like once it gets a little warm, then it gets really hot fast. So I'd be driving. I'm like, all right, I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. Fuck. I've spilt lots of drugs in my lap. One time, yo, shout out. I'm not gonna say his name, but like, shout out to the homie, bro. If you're watching, you know exactly who you are. I was driving down the road one time. We were doing like big rails of cocaine on this big piece of glass. It might have been on a CD case actually, but it was like, whatever. And I don't know what possessed my homie to do this, but he lights a cigarette and there's like, I don't know, dude, like at least a couple of grams on this tray, like all of our coke. And he rolls the window down and we're going like, dude,
No.
and it just goes woof, and it's just like all up in the air, and I'm like, oh no, like, bro, I was so sad, dude.
That's fucking
Also, oh, dude, last little drug story, and I'll get out of here. So check it out. So one day I'm at this dope house with the same guy, that I was just talking about. And we go inside, we pick up our order, and I was like, "Hey, man," the guy's like, "Hey, you can hang out here if you want and, get high." And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know you like that. I'm gonna leave." And my homie's like, "Well, hey, I'm gonna hang out." And I was like, "All right, I guess I'll catch you tomorrow." He's like, "Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow." So I go out in the car, and I'm in the car, and I'm loading up a shot, and I'm chilling, and I'm like sitting there, and I'm like looking around, and I'm paranoid, right? Because I did a couple bumps on the way to the car because I'm a junkie. I see like red and blue lights, like kind of far, and I'm like, "Whoa, that's crazy." I was like, "Dude, it felt like they were coming in this apartment complex." And then before you know it, they're blocking the entrance, and two of them are coming into the back.
Oh shit! It was a raid.
Dude, it wasn't yet. Yes, it was a raid, but it wasn't like they brought like a whole DEA trip with them. They just brought like a bunch of squad cars, but they literally ran up in the house that I was just in.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there and I'm like frozen. I literally just leaned my seat back like this. I was like, and I just laid in my car for like hours, dude. I probably laid in that car for 4 or 5 hours. And I went from like high to like not in Jonesing, knowing I had some drugs in the car, but I didn't want to move because I was so paranoid. Bro, I stayed there all night, dude. They arrested like 4 people. Dude, it was fucked up. I was this close to going to jail.
Sounds like one of those
Hey,
nights.
DARE, guys. Drug abuse resistance education. Stay out, dude. Stay in school. Don't do drugs. Listen to skatepunk. That's the best advice I could give you.
Wow.
Or be a
Yeah,
curmudgeon mohawk wearing spiky jacket gatekeeper and tell me I'm a poser. But what do one of those things and don't do
That's
the
gonna
drug.
happen anyway. Don't worry.
It is, dude. See y'all later, fuckers.
Peace.